here, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are a return guest, thank you so much for coming back. Remember to like, share, subscribe, follow, whatever it is you're doing on whichever platform you're watching this or listening to this on. I have had some amazing guests over the last few episodes. Most recent episode was myself and Emma having a quick catch up about the British Society of Lifestyle Medicine conference that we're going to in a couple of weeks. That was just a silly, fun, quick 12-minute podcast. There was not a whole lot of sustenance to that one. Week before that, I had, who did I have on? It's here, Linda O'Donnell. She was talking about her thyroid and what she's been doing to naturally support her thyroid. Week before that, I had Lisa Hopper, who has written the book Truly You. We had a brilliant chat. If you haven't listened to that one, definitely go back and listen to that one. It was, for me, mind blowing. There was lots of insights, there was lots of aha moments. I have been back and listened to it again. I've taken notes. It was just a really great conversation. I really, really enjoyed that one. I enjoy all the conversations, but sometimes you have one that you're just like, this has been a game changer. And that for me was definitely one. Before that, we had Fiona Brannigan, who is a dietitian. She's talking about her gut reset method, talking about different kinds of diets, what is faddy, what information out there is a bit bullshit, what information out there you should be listening to, what kind of tests you should or shouldn't be bothering with when it comes to exploring what's going on in your body. And then the week before that, I had Lauren from Darling Breathe. Lauren is an absolute joy and an inspiration. Go back and listen to that. We talk about trauma-informed breath work, what it means to be a trauma-informed coach, what you should be looking out for if you're going to work with somebody, particularly if you have a history of trauma in your life. She also touches a little bit on her story of being disabled from 2 years old, the journey that she's been through. And then after we were recording, when we were having a chat, I had asked her about her condition because she walks with sticks. And she said that when she's hooked up to machines, those machines tell the doctors that she's quadriplegic. And she's clearly not, because she is up and walking around, albeit with sticks, but she is not quadriplegic. And we were talking then about how the information that the medical establishment has can be really useful, but it can also be really limited, in that the body is so much more than a bunch of data on a computer. And if you believe that you can move forward and that you can do things, you can prove the medical world wrong. And that's going to lead me in nicely. So go back and listen to them if you haven't already, but that's going to lead me nicely into today's podcast. So I've been out networking, been meeting up with some friends recently, definitely been in a more energized space to be able to be out and be more sociable, which excites me a lot because I'm able to go and do that and not be completely afterwards. Yes, I'm having to rest, definitely having to take appropriate care for myself, but I am not completely drained in ways that I have been in situations over the last 3 years. So my last major flare was 2022. I've had some small hiccups and flares in between that. I am not completely symptom free, but I am feeling stronger and more resilient than I have in a long time. I'm not taking that for granted, because if I do, I could wake up the next day and not be able to walk. But I definitely feel more like myself, not the person that I think I should be, not the person that I think I have to just be okay with, but actually feeling more happier in myself and more settled in myself. And my friends who have known me for a long time have said, you look better, you're looking better than you have in a long time. And when I was thinking about it, thinking about what is different other than the consistency of all my actions, and that there's no one thing that has got me to this place. It is definitely a cumulative effect of small steps consistently every single day, being at peace with a lot of the things that I've put in place, being happy with the changes that I'm making. One of my friends who's a former nurse, she works with Catherine McEwen Foundation, said to me, she's like, Jane, you're like the healthiest person I know, because every time she sees me, I'm having a smoothie, or when we meet up and we're out having lunch, I'll order the soup. And it's not that I'm ever doing these things to be the healthy one. I am doing those things because that's what my body's telling me that I want, and I know that that's what nourishes my body. I generally don't eat cakes when I go out because I generally feel like crap after I've eaten them. Don't like burgers, don't particularly like I don't eat sandwiches, like, ever, unless occasionally I'll maybe put some bacon in a roll or some crisps in a roll, but that's an occasional if my body's telling me that that's what it is that it wants. But other things that I think have made a really significant change, particularly in the last couple of months, that I've gone, "Huh, I've moved to the next stage of feeling better since I've implemented this." First thing was having breakfast every day. There's a big, huge craze around fasting. There's a lot of information out there about how fasting is really healing, fasting is really good for you, it helps stabilize your blood sugars, it helps maintain a healthy weight, etc., etc., etc. Definitely, all these things are beneficial. For me, I wasn't eating until about lunchtime, and then I was finishing eating about 6 o'clock. In that small window, so I was only having like a 6 hour window of eating. In that window, I wasn't eating enough calories to sustain what I needed to do for the day. So I was running on empty all the time. So, first of all, that's not great. I was also listening to Stacey Sims, who does a lot of research and a lot of work on women and women's health. So she runs a lot of research projects for women. She's a PhD physiologist, but specifically for women. One of her pages is Women Are Not Small Men. And she talks a lot about how the research, particularly around things like fasting and cold water therapy and all these faddy biohacking things that are out there, are based on men and men's physiology, not on women and women's physiology. And she is the reason that I have started consistently eating breakfast now, because one of the things that she said is when women waken, our cortisol levels are much higher. So cortisol is one of the stress hormones, much high, more high. What are the words? It's higher than men's, and our blood sugar levels are different. We want to stabilize these as early as we can in the day. So by having breakfast, so if you want to fast and have that fasting window, have breakfast and finish eating earlier in the day instead of skipping breakfast, having lunch, and then having dinner. So switching that up can be much more beneficial for women. So that's one of the things that I started to do, was have breakfast every day. Now I'm not hungry when I get up in the morning, and I find it difficult to sit down and eat actual food. So I'm having a protein shake, which is not the gold standard of brilliant breakfasts, but it is better than nothing. And it's getting my protein for breakfast in. I'm basing this on me being currently a 46-year-old woman. This is what's working for me. So I have protein with 10 grams of collagen, 3 grams of creatine in a shake, and that works for me right now. I will continue to assess that to make sure that that is working for me. Creatine, loads of really good research coming out just now for women. The creatine showing really good for muscle recovery, bone density improvements for women, and brain health. So suffering from brain fog, sluggish thoughts, creatine can be really useful. The studies that were done on women were over, I think, I can't remember now if it was 2 years or 5 years. There was thousands of women in this study, and they were taking 5 grams of creatine per day over all those years. There was no negative impact for them, and the benefits, particularly for perimenopausal, menopausal women, showed to be great. Now, I tried 5 grams of creatine, didn't work for me, have a sensitive gut. For creatine, that can be stimulating in the bowel. Play around, so depending on your physical size, like if you're a small woman, you'll need maybe less. If you're a larger lady, you maybe need more. Play around with that. There are um, Dr. Rhonda Patrick, she's another PhD scientist who looks at physiology and looks at a lot of the research, runs studies. She says 6 grams of creatine that you need for brain health, but that's not necessarily suitable for people with, particularly if you've got any gut issues. So I'm working with 3 grams a day, working for me. Give it a go, see if that works. So breakfast every single day, super important. Hydrating first thing in the morning. So in the morning when I get up, I'm probably drinking about 2 litres of fluids within the first hour of me getting up. So between my protein shake, I'm taking hydrogen water. Thought I would give that a go. Tried it. I'm taking the hydrogen tablet, which you just drop one in a pint of water, let the tablet dissolve, drink that straight away. I noticed 2 weeks after starting that I didn't have fatigue in the same way as I'd had it previously. So I'm putting the protein and this hydrogen water as these seem to be working really well for me. There's not huge amounts of research on this. There is some small study research run by companies that are obviously selling these supplements, and they are stating that it can be good for gut health, reducing inflammation in the body. There's lots of claims there, but the studies are very small and they have been done on men. I'm taking it, I'm trying it to see how my body responds, and so far it's working well. So I will continue to take it until further notice. I also take a greens drink in the morning. Now, don't believe that these greens drinks are classified as one of your 5 a day, but it is a more bioavailable multivitamin that your gut can more easily absorb the nutrients from because it's a powder. I did not ever take, there's a few different brands. There's one that if you listen to lots of the big podcasters, that is constantly advertised as the gold standard one. There was a study that came out recently saying that it was in the top 10 of highest levels of lead in their shake. So don't know if their third party testing hasn't been testing for lead or if they just ignored it or what the situation there was. Not going to name them, but they're very expensive. Cost about £100 a month. I've never taken that one. I did take one of the other big company ones. I'm wearing their t-shirt. They had 91 ingredients in their greens powder. It was 45 quid a month, so it was significantly cheaper than the other one. But I had a big question mark over, why is there 91 ingredients in this when you're only taking 8 grams? If you're taking 8 grams of 91 ingredients, you're not getting a lot of any of those ingredients. Is that a bit of a waste of time? Very possibly. But I have switched again to another company. This company is Vivo Life. I will put the link into the show notes. I use Vivo Life for my protein powder. I've started using the greens powder and I use their creatine. Few reasons. The protein powder that I use has BCAAs, so your branched chain amino acids. It's also got digestive enzymes in it. It's a vegan protein, so it's not got whey. My gut doesn't like whey protein. It's a fermented pea isolate and cold pressed hemp protein. My gut seems to be quite happy with that. I'd suggested it to somebody else who had really bad gut issues. She was taking it and messaged me to say that she's had no issues with her gut at all taking that protein. So she was really happy about that, feeling the benefits of it. I'll put the information for that into the show notes. They also third party test and give you access to the third party testing reports so you can check the levels of lead and levels of heavy metals and all that other information in to check the quality of the products. So I think for me that's a really important thing. Their greens drink only has, I think I counted it this morning, I think it was 6 ingredients with 4 or 5 different types of probiotic strains in it. There's a whole lot less in there, but for me it feels more effective. All the nutrients are pretty much the same as the other one, and it is slightly cheaper. That's always a win. I also use that same company's vitamin D, so they've got a D3 with K2 in a liquid form, so it comes in oil. It is a coconut oil, MTC, medium chain triglyceride, which means that the vitamin D is absorbed into your body better. If you're taking vitamin D is fat soluble hormone, so it needs to be taken with fat. If you're not taking it with fat, then your body is just going to pee it out, which is a problem if you're taking any vitamin D in a tablet form. So these are the things that I have been doing recently. I've also been resting much more than I had previously, and what resting looks like for me is not feeling guilty about watching some things on Netflix and just allowing myself to settle into that. It looks like reading my books, chilling out, reading my books, again, not feeling guilty about it, going out for walks. Resting doesn't need to be just sitting doing nothing. It can be for sure, and getting comfortable just sitting doing nothing, highly valuable. But it's not suitable for everybody. If you've got a very active mind like I have, and you're always thinking and got ideas and blah, 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 and running stories of guilt and all the other things, finding things to do that engage your brain that are not work related. We had a conversation at a networking event a couple of weeks ago. One of the girls was saying, I absolutely love what I do. It fills me with so much joy. And the point that we were trying to make to her was, that's great, but you're only using one part of your brain. And yes, it's the creative part of your brain for the type of work you do, and it brings you joy and gives you love, but eventually that will burn out. So find other ways to be creative that feel nice for you, that are not work. It's not work. We need to step away from work. Work can be so fulfilling, but if your whole identity is around this work, it will burn you out eventually. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, got the chronic illness, don't want to be there anymore. So that's where I am at with my healing journey. I have recently released 3 rebranded products: the recalibration, the reset, and the rewire. Just had somebody in for the reset today. Client that came to me has MS, and when she came in, she was hobbling, doing the massage, doing the treatment. When we got to her right leg, halfway down the muscle had deflated basically. It had deflated and compressed. It was really compacted down. And she'd sort of mentioned that she was losing balance on that leg. That leg was feeling really weak. That foot was really, really cold. She wasn't getting the blood flow down to that foot, struggling. So I worked on this compacted area, pinching and lifting the skin, trying to get the blood and the fluids all in, loosened it off. Never fully got it loosened off, but because I was running out of time by the time I had got to that part of her body, I will know next time she comes to spend less time in other places and more time there. But we worked on getting that moving. That then warmed her foot up, so her foot didn't feel like ice. When I was working on her foot felt like it had deflated slightly. I was like, there's less muscle structure in that foot. So I've given her some foot exercises, foot rolling to do, given her some instruction for self-care of that thigh for herself. But when I left her to go for her to get dressed, and when I came back up to the room, she's like, I need to show you something. And she lifted, I don't know if I'll be able to get in the camera here. She lifted her leg and crossed her leg over and then lifted it back. And I was like, oh, she went, normally I have to pick that leg up to lift it over and pick that leg up to uncross it. And she was able to just sit there and do that movement by herself. Amazing, amazing. That sort of shit fills me with joy. It's why I do what I do. When she was walking out, I've got stairs that go up to my front door, and she stopped and she went back down to the bottom of the stairs and she's like, I need to show you this. Normally, when I'm walking upstairs, I have to swing my leg round to get it up and onto the step. And she stepped up normally. Amazing, brilliant. Let's keep an eye on that. Let's keep practicing that movement. Now that we've refound that movement, keep practicing it. Let's see how long you're able to maintain that movement for, because that's brilliant. When we are diagnosed with certain conditions, there is a mindset from certain people that things are just going to get worse, and you just need to put up with that. That's just how things are going to be. Personally, I don't believe that. There will come an age where things will deteriorate beyond being able to repair. This lady is not there yet. She's in her 50s. She is not at end of life. There is more life in her body, and she is active. She goes to yoga class. She has a personal trainer who specifically works on exercises to help her with her MS. So yeah, we were able to do some really useful things in that treatment to help her body function better. A lot of the time, when we have cold hands, cold feet, there's blockages in the body, stopping the energy, stopping the blood flow, stopping the lymph flow getting there. We need to work on those blockages to help open up, to help all the fluids move. Something else I've been doing more abdominal work, massaging into my abdomen. I've been doing liver work. So dandelion root, tea, coffee, whatever you want to call it, every morning. And then every night I'm doing percussion, like tapping on my liver, massage in around that liver area to help the liver function better, because my iron levels were always low. And with I was taking supplements, and I was taking 15, 20 milligrams of iron every day, and my iron levels went down. How did that work out? Because my body is not able to utilize the iron that I have taken in. So I went down a bit of a rabbit hole trying to work out what the heck is going on. Why is my body not doing this? One of the things that was suggested was you need copper and sufficient amounts of copper in your diet for your body to be able to utilize the iron that you have taken. So that was number one. Number two, the liver not functioning right. So by doing that liver massage, massaging into my abdomen, getting all that working better, helps every system in your body work better. The last bloods that I had, the nurse didn't phone me to say your iron levels are still really low. We need to think about doing something. There was no phone call at all, so I'm assuming that my iron levels are okay. I will find out the numbers the next time I speak to a medical. But energetically, I'm feeling better. So to me, my iron is now starting to be utilised better. That is a good sign for me. So there are lots of good things going on, all of them small, consistent steps that I have been incorporating, adding in, that are helping me feel better. Touch all the wood. That's the way we are continuing forward. I'm helping other clients get into a better place. If you need some help, if you need some assistance, reach out to me. I've put the link to Rewire, which is an online program, and the affiliate link for the Vivo Life protein. I need to really work out. I give people this affiliate link and I have absolutely no idea what I get back from it, because so far I've not from it. Anyway, that doesn't matter. I would still recommend them, whether I do still recommend them, whether I'm getting something back from it or not. So yeah, if you've got any questions, do drop them in. Go back and listen to the previous episodes of all those amazing guests. I think I have some guests lined up for the podcasts coming forward. Can't remember who, what, when, why, whatever. If you have a request for a guest, if you want to be a guest, come on and share your story and have a chat. I do love to have a chat. Otherwise, I'll see you on the next episode. As always, if there's something here that you think, oh, this person needs to hear this, please do share. It really helps with algorithms and stuff, because this is podcast 228. And I still have not got a million followers. I don't even have followers. And that's okay. I don't mind. I want the people who needs to hear these podcasts to hear them. Doesn't need to be a lot of people. Not interested in that. It would be nice to see some growth in the world. Anyway, have a wonderful day. Hope you're doing something nice, and I will see you on the next episode.